Hey everyone, it is Saturday morning, and I woke up this morning thinking about a number of conversations that I've had throughout the week with a number of you, both before as well as sparked by, I think, some of the conversations we had on Wednesday, Thursday, whatever day that was, around the difference between working from home, which is a choice many Americans make, everyone makes, versus working at home during a crisis, because of a crisis, and how we really cannot judge ourselves the same in one category as we can in the other. And what that brought up for a lot of people was just maybe a slight dissipation of this anxiety that many of us have been having, that's running through our heads, some of us almost constantly right now. And there's good reason. There's so much uncertainty that is going on right now. Folks are not sure what's going to happen with their jobs, with their families, with people that they have in their lives with health conditions, elderly people, ourselves, with what's going to happen with our ability to pay bills, our spouse or significant other's jobs. All of those pieces are constantly running through. And for many of us, that has resulted in feelings of stress or anxiety that are almost chronic. And in a few of the conversations, I felt compelled to bring up a practice of are you figuring out a space to meditate, to kind of work out some of that anxiety. And in the case, that word is kind of loaded. If you don't have a practice of yoga or meditation, sometimes that can be this big scary word. And I was in that camp 2 years ago. In fact, had you told me that I would be able to meditate the amount of time that I am now 2 years ago, I would have laughed you out of this house. And that was because my brain, like many brains, is very, very active. There is a almost seductive desire to constantly be processing what's going to happen and puzzle it out and figure out the best solution to whatever thing I might be worried about or interested in. And that serves us very well. This brain is amazing. We can figure out the best solutions to some really amazing complex problems using this. And yet, when it comes to things that elicit stress, anxiety, or frankly, really any emotion, it's almost impossible to use your brain to solve it, to get yourself out of that space. And I think that's simply because that's not its job. Our brain is there to do some really amazing problem solving things and to help us figure out the best solution to many complex logarithms of the day. It's not as good, and it's not its job, frankly, though we try to make it its job to solve it. A few of you are having trouble sleeping at night, and the common refrain is either I can get to sleep fine, and then I wake up and everything is running at this sprint pace through my brain, all the problems, all the worries, all the what ifs, or I can't get to sleep because that's happening at that same time. And so today I just felt compelled to share a practice of, I'm going to call it meditation. Sounds a little bit loaded, just ignore it as that. But a practice of listening. And in this case, I'm not talking about the kind of listening that we all have talked about in group dynamics, though this will be helpful for those as well. But really a listening to the chatter that I was just bringing up, and listening to it from a place other than the place that is doing the chatter. So this beautiful computer program we have on top of our head that allows us to do some really, really cool things. And that listening as meditation, I think, is especially critical right now at this time for people to just frankly, to be able to get rid of some of the strong feelings that they can engender. And so I'm just going to talk through what the practice of listening as meditation as it works for me, and as it works for many people that I know that do this practice. And it is not a practice of, okay, I'm not going to think that thought. It is a practice of completely thinking that thought, that worry, that stressor. And once it's thought, and you immediately want to go to problem solving, instead I listen to kind of where it's coming from. So where the stress part of that anxiety part. And some people, for some pieces, it might be a tightening of the chest. For me, often if it's something stressful that I'm perhaps feeling less control over than I would like, I feel it in my stomach, and it's this tightening and kind of contraction of that. Wherever it is, I allow myself to go from the kind of thought center and really just move into that space of where I'm feeling that anxiety or that stress, and without judging it, without trying to make it go away, just let it be, but not let it be as the specific stressor, just the feeling of what it is doing physically to my body. And as I concentrate away from the thing, that thing that I'm trying to future state solve, and I focus into the feeling, whatever physical, emotional stuff it's doing in there, I find that often I can just allow it to, sometimes it grows before it does this, but it will at a certain point just dissipate. And it's funny, I occasionally might go, where'd it go? But all of our feelings go everywhere, right? We have the best emotion ever, and the next day, oh, wasn't that great? Where'd it go? I guess that's not the point for today. The point for today is this practice can allow us to, without judging ourselves for these very, very real and very normal reactions to current state, allow us to really get control over is probably the wrong way to speak about it, but allow us to attack them from a place that can solve them. This brain is an amazing puzzle solver. It isn't intended for solving complex feeling centers. That's not what it's made for. I was reading a couple of days ago, maybe just yesterday, a comment someone made on something about your head is the computer program, and it would be like telling this computer that I have in front of me to solve love or solve some sort of other feeling or intuition or wisdom truth. That's not its job. Its job is to logically figure out algorithms and help us figure out the very best case scenario for this time. And that's a very important skill to have right now. We all are probably trying to save more money at this point, and our brain is saying that's smart because there's these what ifs it's playing out, and that's perfectly valid, beautiful thing for it to be doing. Thank you, brain. It is not there to help me get rid of that stress. And so finding that place where it lives, finding where those pieces are, and just being with them, that's where you can kind of get to the gold, I would say, of, and the other side, frankly, of those stressful moments, times, issues. And it might not be right away. Sometimes I'll sit with it and it just tends to grow, and I'll can't handle it anymore and I'll walk away and I'll come back. But usually it just goes away. And instead, there's still chatter happening. So I never turned off the brain, which is where I think some people go when they think about meditation, but I'm not the brain. And that's a really big piece when you think about meditation, is going to that place that allows this tool, this amazing tool we have, to do what it's going to do. Maybe we want to make it do it a little bit less frenetically during those moments. But even if it does, not judging it, but also not being it. I think that's a really interesting practice. And I would love to hear, for those of you who try it this week, what you think. There is, different things work for different people. I do think this is one that if you can just allow it to happen, might surprise you. So that's what I wanted to share. I didn't think I was going to share for 10 minutes, but that's what the bottom of the screen is telling me this Saturday morning. And I just want to say, you guys inspire me every single day. Every single day I woke up just my heart was feeling for the different conversations and texts and exchanges this week that have both warmed my heart and been solace to my soul, but also really feeling for you all and your souls and your hearts. So I'm hoping this is helpful. And if so, I would love to chat with you about it a little bit. Yeah, that's what I got. Okay. Have a great rest of your weekend. Blessed Easter. If you are celebrating that, it's going to be an interesting one for sure for everyone. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you very much.